Hello students, I am going to teach this course Signals and Systems, and today we will see sampling of discrete time signal. Sampling of discrete time signal. Sampling of discrete time signals. And under this heading, we will see impulse train sampling. Impulse train sampling. We will see sampling of discrete time signals, impulse train sampling. We have seen sampling of continuous time signal using impulse train sampling. Today we will see sampling of discrete time signal using impulse train sampling. This impulse train sampling can be viewed as a multiplication of signal to be sampled, let us call this as xn, and train of impulses, this let us call pn. Pn can be written as delta n minus kn, that is k minus 3 to infinity, which is, that means it is a periodic impulse. It is periodic train of impulses which repeats with period n samples. So this is the sample signal, and that let us call it as a xpn. So this xpn is nothing but it is xn multiplied with pn. So what this xpn, this xpn will be, where this xpn will be equal to xn if n is integer multiple of n, because it is multiplied with this unit impulse at the interval of n, then this xpn will be having the same sample xn only at the interval of n, that is when n is integer multiple of n, and all other value will be 0 otherwise. That means this can be written as this x kn and this delta n minus kn viewed as k minus infinity to infinity. So this will be the sample value. This will be, that is the impulse train sampling. When signal is multiplied with chain of impulses, then the output is a discrete time sample signal, but this signal will be available only at integer multiple of n. All sample of xn will not be available. The value of xn will be available only when n is integer multiple of n, and it will be 0 otherwise. Graphically we can see its meaning. That means if this is, it is called, this is the value of, for example, this is the value of xn signal, let this is xn. Okay, let this is 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 and so on, minus 4. This signal is going to be sampled by train of impulses, and let the train of impulses, this Pn is with n is equal to, let us call 3. We will understand this, that it is having value 1 at 0, at 1, at 2 add 3, it is having the value 3, that is again value 1, again it is having 0 0. Similarly, here at -1, -2, -3, it is having, when we will multiply this signal, that when xp, where that xpn is multiplication of xn and multiplication of pn, what it will be? The value at 0 it will have. The resultant signal will have the value at 0. That means this signal xpn, whatever that value here, and that same, it will have value at here. But at these 2 points, it will have value 0 0. Again, what the value at 3? Then it will have the value at 3. What is the value of this? Whatever it was, it will be here. 0, 1, 2, 3. Similarly, at -1, -2, -3, it will have here value 0, here value 0, and here it will have value equal to this. That means if this value is 1, then this value will be 1. If this value is 1, then this value will be 1. If this value is, for example, 0.7, this will value 0.7. So this signal will be now only present, that means xp n is, it is equal to xn, but only when n is integer multiple of 3 in this case, which is in general equal to n. So this signal, resultant signal, is a sample signal. From this discrete time sampling, we are getting signal to be sampled when multiplied with the impulses at certain interval called train of impulses. If this n is 3, for this example we have taken, so this will be the output. That means in the output, in the sample part, signal will be only available where discrete time impulses were present. Signal will be only present, rest will be 0. It will be here, it will be here, rest will be 0, rest will be 0. Again, next point 0, 0. Again it will be present at 6, at 9, and so on. Now we will visualize frequency domain of this sample signal, discrete time sample signal. This xpn is xn and multiplied with pn, then in frequency domain, this xp e to the power j omega will be what? That x in frequency domain and p in frequency domain, and they will be getting convolved because they are multiplied in time domain, then they will be getting convolved in frequency domain. For the impulse train, Pn is equal to delta n minus Kn. We have already seen its frequency domain, that is its Fourier transform. We have already seen, and that was P, that is 2 pi upon n, and summation, the 2 pi upon n summation delta omega. That is, again it is train of impulses in frequency domain, and here it is k minus infinity to infinity. So this is the Fourier transform of this train of impulses, and similarly we can this what that xp e to the power j omega will be, because this signal is x e to the power j omega. This is the Fourier transform of signal, and this is the Fourier transform of train of impulses. So they are getting convolved. X p e to the power j omega will be this convolution, and that means it will be, we'll use the convolution formula, that is 1 upon 2 pi, this integral over 2 pi, and this p e to the power j theta, and x e to the power j and this omega minus theta and this d theta, and this will be equal to 1 upon n summation x e to the power j omega minus k and this omega s, and this k is equal to minus infinity to infinity, where omega s is sampling frequency, where omega s is 2 pi by n, and that is the sampling frequency. Sampling frequency. So what that is, if we will observe this p to the power j omega, that they are the impulses at the distance of omega s, at the interval of omega s, and x e to the power j omega, and that is, it is the spectrum of x, and that is at the shifting of integer multiple of that omega s, that we can plot here. It means we can plot the spectrum. If x is band limited signal, we'll have a description exactly we have seen in continuous time, but here this spectrum will be periodic with period 2 pi, and this x e to the power j omega. If this is a band limited signal, let this is omega m, this is minus omega m. If this is a band limited signal, then at 2 pi and here at minus of 2 pi, again the same will be repeated. That means this is the spectrum for a band limited signal. What this value will be? This is 2 pi, and this will be 2 pi minus omega n, and this value will be 2 pi plus omega n. So this is a band limited signal x. Similarly here, this is a band limited signal x to the power j omega n, and this spectrum will be in frequency domain because it is spectrum of discrete time signal. It will be, let's call this is 1. This is a band limited signal, and this spectrum will be periodic with period 2 pi in frequency domain. That is, whatever is here, it will be at here 2 pi, and same thing will be here at minus. Now we plot the spectrum of train of impulses. What that will be? That will be this p e to the power j omega will plot, then it is impulse at 0, it is impulse at omega s, impulse at 2 omega s, similarly at minus omega s, at minus 2 omega s, and so on, of extent 2 pi by n. What this will be? In frequency domain, they are going to be convolved. That means what? The same spectrum will be repeated at these impulses, at the location of impulses. That means this xp e to the power j omega will be this minus omega m and this omega m. Let this value, this is omega s, then other spectrum will be here. Similarly, the next spectrum will be here, and so on. Like that. So this will be the spectrum of xp e to the power j omega, and this is 2 pi, this is 2 pi. when these two are convolved, that means this spectrum will be now located at every impulses of strength this 2 pi upon n, and this its value was 1 upon n. So that will be there. Now we can see, if you want to recover this signal, you want to from this signal to this signal. That means this was the original signal which we have sampled. If you want to recover this signal, then we can recover from this signal if there is no overlap of spectrum. As we have seen in continuous time signal, if there is no overlap of spectrum, then we can exactly recover. If you want to recover it, that means what? If this is omega m, then this should be equal to this omega s minus omega m. That means in this case we have used omega s minus omega m is more than omega m. This we have used. That means what? That means omega s is more than twice omega m. Here you can see, if it is more than twice omega m, then there is no overlap of spectrum, and we can exactly recover the signal just passing it from the low pass filter having this cutoff frequency more than omega m. That means this signal can be recovered from this signal exactly without loss of information, because in this case omega s is more than twice omega m. That was the rule of sampling, that is sampling theorem. That is, sampling frequency is more than the double of the maximum frequency contained in the signal. But what will be there? If this will be not there, then there will be overlapping. If this will be more, then there will be overlapping. If this omega m is such that these 2 points just coincide, then till that point we can recover the signal without loss of information. But if omega s is less than this, then there will be overlap of spectrum and we cannot recover it. That means, so this is a case where omega s is more than twice omega n. That means sampling frequency is more than the double of the maximum frequency contained in the signal. Then there is no overlapping of spectrum and original signal can be recovered without any loss of information. But if omega s is less than twice omega m, that means what? The spectrum will be like in this case, this spectrum will overlap like this. So here it will be having this type of resultant spectrum. That means if it is omega s more than twice of omega m, then there will be overlap of spectrum and there will be loss of information. But in this case there is no overlap of, that means when omega is more than twice omega m, no overlap of spectrum and it can be recovered easily just by passing it from the low pass filter. If you apply a low pass filter here, a low pass filter like this of having any cutoff frequency, which is more than omega m but less than this value, then that will be sufficient. But this strength of this filter should be, that means magnitude should be equal to 1. That means an ideal low pass filter can completely recover the signal. If this ideal low pass filter having, let this cutoff frequency omega c, this ideal low pass filter ideal low pass filter with magnitude n, so that this n and 1 by n will multiply and give the value 1, that is in pass bands will have the value 1. Okay? And this cutoff frequency omega c, that should be more than omega m and less than this value. That means it should be more than omega m and less than omega s minus omega n. In that case, you can completely recover the signal. That means you can keep this omega c, as omega s by 2. That means this is minus omega s by 2. Then this ideal filter can completely recover the original signal from this sample signal. This is minus omega c. This ideal filter, that means this was sampling of the signal xn with chain of impulses pn, and we are getting this xpn is the sample signal of this discrete time sample. If this is passed through this h e to the power j omega filter, then this recovered signal, let us call this xr signal, then this recovered signal xrn will be exactly equal to xn. So we can completely recover the signal provided the sampling frequency that omega s is more than the twice omega n. Then we can completely recover the signal. That means this omega s was 2 pi upon n. That means if this 2 pi n value is more than twice of omega m, that is omega m is the maximum frequency of the signal, then we can easily recover the signal without any loss of information. And we will stop here and we will continue in the next class.